Hi. I just wanted to take a minute to talk about some things, other things that people have asked me about, been concerned about with a lot of these laws that are going on now, or going through now. People have asked me a lot about these FEMA camps that are all throughout the United States that have been recently, I guess, updated, cleaned out, maintained. These camps have been around for a long time. These are the detention camps that we used for Japanese American citizens during World War II, and since then we've used them, cleaned them out, and prepared them for use a couple times. In the early 70s, it was for dissent against the Vietnam War. In the 80s, we cleaned them out again for immigration issues. I think there are a few other times that I can't really remember, but I know just after 9/11, I think it was called Vigilant Guardian, we updated them again. We cleaned them out, and there's so much speculation around these things that, like, I know a real big critic of these camps is Alex Jones. He released some sort of press issue, or some sort of like a request for services by FEMA for these use of camps or detention camps, and or during a state of emergency. Anyway, long story short, in this little memo that FEMA had released, they had requested companies that could contract temporary fencing for camps, and they defined the sizes of camps by the number of people that would be in these camps and so on. And of course, he wanted to jump on this like it was like fences can only be used to keep people in, but if you look at the memo even further, it's kind of funny how, like, catering services are on there too. So it's not like these people are getting ready for some sort of like massive totalitarian police state, right? Certainly things in this country, or the political atmosphere in this country is very, very dangerous, and since 9/11 there have been a lot of suspicious things going on in government, things that we really need to be concerned about. A lot of our civil liberties have been threatened, some even violated, but the Constitution is one thing that, like, alright, if this National Defense Authorization Act did violate the Constitution and the President signs it, that's a violation of his oath of office. That's grounds for impeachment, and the Republicans would have jumped all over that. It would have been over. But no, it was a Republican that introduced the bill and Republicans that caught it, so, it's not that big of a deal. We just kind of play it down like, this is everyday business in America. But surely, yeah, there are things that, like, people are concerned about certain provisions in the PATRIOT Act that allow for detainment of immigrants and things like that. Loose definitions of terrorists and things like, are expanded definitions of terrorists rather than loose, because the definitions are pretty specific. And if you actually read these things, they make good sense. I mean, if anybody's, trying to violently attack United States citizens, I would want that. I would want someone to have some kind of authority to go after them, if we're going to concede to a government. But yeah, allowing somebody to have that sort of authority is not any kind of violation of civil rights by any means. It's just further expanding law. The thing that in the PATRIOT Act that kind of actually concerned me, rather than definitions of terrorists, which a lot of people probably overlook, is the Title 7, I can't remember, the inter-agency cooperation, which before there were separations between groups like the FBI, CIA, and local law enforcement, kind of sort of like a balance of power between these groups. And since the PATRIOT Act was signed, we are now allowed to, those groups are, which the PATRIOT Act, most of it's not current still, it wasn't renewed, but parts of the PATRIOT Act allowed for the FBI, CIA, and local law enforcement to cooperate more on criminal and terrorist investigations, sharing information and stuff like that. Like that's really kind of the worst stuff that really did. I mean, under state of national emergency, the president could declare martial law. One of the things in the PATRIOT Act definitely was the executive order that allowed him to declare martial law without the use of Congress. that's really dangerous, putting that power in one man's hand, in my opinion. But like, I just don't think that it's any reason for us to go running around causing concern and panic, because honestly, if you read the PATRIOT Act, running around causing that kind of panic actually defines you as a terrorist. So you might want to be careful about what we're running around, you know, causing an uproar about, especially when there's not really a need to. We can look at these bills, we can read these laws for ourselves. They're really not that hard to interpret. Most of the stuff you might need to pay a lawyer to read all of it, but you don't need a lawyer to interpret it for you by any means. Most of the stuff you can look up the definitions yourself, and you'll be good. So just, you know, stay concerned, stay aware, and constantly read these bills. Don't just go on hype and conjecture. Thank you.